Hello, welcome back to another segment in excerpts from a Spiritual Ascension. I was laughing earlier because um, I never know what I'm going to speak to you guys about on a daily basis. And sometimes I have a list here of things that I can talk about, but it's like sometimes I like the universe will give me a little bit of push inspiration on something. And I've kind of been doing, I've been in this in-between period. So, as I always say to you guys, you're living two lives within one lifetime, right? And as you know, if you've been following along, I ended my journey in like April 2025. And there's like this in-between period where you're kind of just healing from everything you just went through. And also, it's like a period of self-reflection and how getting your vision together about what you want your future to be or what you want this next life to be. So I'm in this in between part of doing a lot of healing, kind of sitting and going internally um, to understand like what is this life like I look back, 40 years ago, who I was, and how did I get from that point to this point? A mother, children, married, totally different life than I'm living now. And has nothing to do with like, it's just so different. My life is so completely different. Anyway, I'm getting off topic of what I wanted to speak to you guys about. Um, if you've been following along in one of my videos, I was talking about um, how in 2012, when I had my first awakening and finding out that the religion that I was involved in wasn't what I thought it was for all those years. And this big realization, like, oh my God, like, I don't even know who God is anymore. And reading about having had read the Bible for all those years, and I had left the religion in my mid 20s. But now I hear I was about, how old was I then? Um, 40, my mid 40s. So 20 years had gone by, and I was kind of just roaming around. I had kind of rejected the Bible because I was so angry to say, who was this God who had allowed for um, this to happen to me? So if you've been following along, what had happened to me as a child, um, when I was around 4 or 5 years old, and that the church I was in covered it up, and that there were so many other ones out there who had had the same experience, and it had continued to be covered up, and this was worldwide. Okay, who was this God that allowed, even in the Bible, for women and children to be killed, and even ordered kings of the Bible to kill children and stuff like that? And just being, I went through this really period of a lot of anger. Didn't want to have anything else to do with the Bible. I was done. Didn't want to see the Bible, didn't want to touch it, nothing. And kind of coming into this period of starting to learn more about spirituality, and always that question of why is there all these different religions based on this one book? But when I started doing my research about spirituality, there was all these different authors who had written so many different books, but in essence were saying the same thing. And I'm like, what is that? Something's there. I even went through this period of, um, am I atheist? Like, do I not believe in God because I don't know this God that I was made to believe in? I don't know who he is. And that was another thing, saying the he, that we have always put a gender on God. And we humanize what God is, you know? And God is nothing like like us humans. Um, I know I no longer really refer to God as God because it so much refers to what the Bible kind of has made God out to be. So usually why I always say spirit or the universe or, my higher source, something like that. Um, I want to kind of put a dividing line between what we were taught of what God was and what our higher source, the universe, truly is. Okay. But I was thinking, like I said, I went to this phase through it. Am I atheist? But I know that there's a higher source. Something had to make all of this. Um, and I was thinking about back to this experience that I had gone through as a child. And along your journey, you're going to witness so many miracles that happen to you, like things that happen, like, I don't know, the universe is is like the 11th hour. Like, I don't know what that is, but things always seem to happen like right at the 11th hour. Like you're about to like, okay, I'm like about to fall in a ditch. And it's like all of a sudden there's a net there to catch you. It's like the weirdest thing. But anyway, um, I remember as a kid being taught, what God was and everything. And even internally having this very deep, conscious relationship with this God. And as I do now, I would always still talk to that God that I had back then. And I remember I was walking up the street. I don't remember how old I was, walking up the street, and this dog came charging, growling, like teeth ready, was coming at me, and I just knew I was done. And got, about, I don't know, 3, 4 feet in front of me, and I'm like yelled out, "Oh my God, please help me! God, please help me!" like that. And that dog who had come out of the yard or whatever, was charging at me, like stopped and just like turned around and went back in the yard. I'm like getting chills right now, like even thinking about it. And I was like, what was that? Like, okay, this God that I do believe in, like protects me. And it was just like this most miraculous thing that this dog, like the whole demeanor of the dog, like just totally changed when I yelled out those words, just stopped in its tracks, stopped showing its teeth and everything, and just turned around like with its tail between its legs and just went back into the yard. So people would say, "Oh, an angel came or something protect." And knowing what I know now, it's not like saying that I've always been protected. Because of this journey, this course, this path that I've chosen to go on, I've always been protected. Even though I didn't know truly who the divine was back then, eventually the divine was going to show me. Okay. Hopefully that's all making sense to you. A big part of this journey is learning about trust. And there's been so many circumstances that I got myself into along that journey. As if you're following along with my story, it's on another playlist of so many things that happen, crazy, crazy, crazy things. And like in a nick of time, or somehow I got out of these situations. And the thing was, I was always, always protected. Like nothing ever bad happened to me. I was in some dire circumstances, but nothing dire ever happened to me. No physical harm ever came to me. Um, Even right now, I've been talking about being out on the street for the first time ever in my life, if you're following along on my story. And even though I was in this cold, there seemed to be from that point on this healing that I went through where I don't really get sick anymore, you know? Um, I went through the whole pandemic, never got and never had the illness at all. So there's like this kind of thing that those of us that go through this journey, as bad as situations may be, you are always protected. And now when I know who exactly my divine source is, and even when I was yelling out as a child for protection, that divine source was there, even though I didn't exactly know who that was or what that was. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there because I'm getting all teary-eyed. You guys must think I'm like, because I get so, I think because I haven't really told a lot of these stories before, and you guys are the first ones hearing a lot of my stories, and just saying the words out loud now, like really, it is a healing. It is a healing. Okay. So I will see you next time. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to spend some time with me. There's a link below to book time with me, and I'll leave it there.